What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another video. Today we're going to be looking at 5 potential Rodri replacements in the upcoming January transfer window. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. I've got daily Manchester City transfer updates coming from January 1st throughout the whole January transfer window to keep you guys up to date here on YouTube every single step of the way and every single day with all the latest Manchester City transfer news. It is free to subscribe, so don't forget to press that red button. Social media links, you can find them in the description. If you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok, email also in the description too. If you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and do let me know your thoughts in the comments below, including if Manchester City are signing a central midfielder who can also cover in defensive midfield, who should we be signing in January? To go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. They're going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest football scores from around the grounds, along with the latest match information, match statistics, match analysis, and all your good footballing needs. Not just limited to football, by the way. They've got all the sports covered for you guys to stay up to date with all the latest scores. It's a free app to download, very highly rated. Do go and check it out. Anyone that does download using my link in the description or the QR code on screen does help to support the future content created here on my channel. So let's crack on with this video. No particular order. First player I want to speak about is Samuele Ricci over at Torino. Now, he's a 23-year-old Italian central midfielder. Made 12 appearances in Serie A so far this season for Torino. Not scored any goals, not got any assists. Apparently available for around 50 million euros. That's according to reports in Italy, and definitely an option for Manchester City this summer. There are other players out there, more experienced players, bigger names, etc., etc. But I do think that Samuele Ricci is definitely a really good option for Manchester City to think about when it comes to potentially signing our Rodri replacement whilst he's injured, and also bringing in a player who can help complement Rodri, and also, once Rodri's back, rotate with him as well. Ricci, definitely an option in my opinion. Now, moving on, player that's been most linked with Manchester City at the moment is Martin Zubimendi over at Real Sociedad. Now, he's a 25-year-old Spanish midfielder, got a release clause set at £51 million. He didn't want to leave San Sebastian in Spain in the summer. There were plenty of interest coming in from him, in particular from Liverpool, who are roughly around an hour away from Manchester, sitting near enough on the same lines as Manchester. So if he wasn't keen on a move to the northwest of England in the summer, the question has to be asked, is he keen on a move to the northwest for the winter? We'll have to wait and see. I do have my doubts about this. Arsenal are also being linked with a move for him. Now, he's made 13 appearances in La Liga so far this season with Real Sociedad. He's made 2 assists and scored 1 goal, having a very good season. Spanish international, has played alongside Rodri before. He provides competitive competition with Rodri in the Spanish national team as well. He is a really good option, and that release clause has to appeal to Manchester City. The big question is, does he want to leave San Sebastian? If he does want to leave San Sebastian, does he want to leave to come to England? And does he want to come to Manchester when he's already said he wasn't keen on going to Liverpool, which is also based in the northwest of England? That has to be the question. We will have to wait and see. Now, moving on, another player that's been linked with Manchester City is Ederson over at Atalanta. Now, he's a 25-year-old Brazilian central midfielder, apparently available, according to reports, for between 40 to 50 million pounds. Now, he did have interest coming in from the summer from both Manchester United and Juventus. Neither of them moves prevailed, and with Ederson now being linked with a move to Manchester City, and apparently the player being keen on the move, makes it a pretty doable transfer. Question is, will City be able to negotiate that transfer to get it sorted in 1 month? 1 month isn't a lot of time. Manchester City at this moment in time haven't got the ball rolling on any transfers, and if we're wanting to do a bit of business in the winter transfer window, we want to get that ball rolling very soon. If a player's not got a release clause, it can take a bit of time to be able to thrash out negotiations, find out if the player's keen on the move, speak to the player's entourage, get agreements in place in terms of personal terms, what length of contract they're looking at, what wages they're looking at, what bonuses they're looking at, etc., etc. You speak to the club, you negotiate negotiate the transfer. It takes time, it takes weeks, it can take more than a month to sort out transfers. So City do want to get this done, and Chicky wants to have one last dance in the winter transfer window with Manchester City. Then Ederson is an option. I have to ask though, 40 to 50 million pounds according to reports coming in from Italy. Is that the case? Are they not going to be asking for a little bit more? Atalanta know that Manchester City need a central midfielder. They have to find an option for Rodri whilst he's out injured for what I presume is going to be the whole season. They're going to ask for a little bit more. Man City don't want to get ripped off, which is why release clauses appeal more to Manchester City than negotiations, and they're easier to get them transfers sorted. So, and one big business that Man City have done previously in the winter window was bringing in Aymeric Laporte, brought him in from Spain, and again, that involved a release clause. So we'll see. Are City going to negotiate? Not normally a tactic we go under, but we're not normally in this kind of situation. Now moving on, player number 4, Hakan Calhanoglu over at Inter Milan. The 30-year-old Turkish international who plays as a central midfielder, was born in Germany, made 9 appearances so far in Serie A with 2 goals and no assists. Inter Milan did want 70 million euros for him in the summer, with interest coming in from Bayern Munich. To be fair, if we're going after defensive midfielders and central midfielders from Inter Milan, and Calhanoglu has been linked with a move to Manchester City, I think I prefer to go for another player from Inter Milan in the form of Barella instead. However, at this moment in time, in the last month or so, Man City's name hasn't really been chucked out there when it comes to Barella. I think Barella would be my preference over Calhanoglu. That's maybe down to his age, though. We've got an ageing squad. Does it make sense to bring in a 30-year-old Turkish international into our team? Not really, because you're probably looking at 3-4 years maximum. If they're asking for a lot of money, you're looking at, 50-60 million pound. It just doesn't really make sense. Barella apparently available for roughly around the same price. I think I'd prefer to go for him if I'm being completely honest, but we will have to wait and see. Now moving on to the final player. Now this list isn't just linked to just these 5 players. There's loads of players being linked with a move to Manchester City, so if there's any other player that you'd prefer City to sign, just let me know in the comments below. But very interesting, the last couple of days Manchester City have been getting linked with a move for Pablo Barrios over at Atletico Madrid. Now the 21-year-old Spanish central midfielder is of interest to Manchester City with 8 appearances, no goals and 1 assist. Tends to be more of an attacking option. He can play in central midfield, can also dip into attacking midfield as well. Does have a whopping 100 million euro release clause. Manchester City and Liverpool have been linked with a move for Barrios, but this sounds more like a summer transfer rather than a winter transfer. I can't see Manchester City spending 100 million euros on one player in the January transfer window, and I personally think there are more affordable, better options out there for Manchester City right now when it comes to the upcoming January transfer window. But that doesn't mean never say never. Barrios has been linked with a move to Manchester City. I have my doubts about a move happening in January, but summer comes along, or it might be the season after, in the summer of 2026, and Barrios could well be an option. And 21 years old, that will appeal to Manchester City, competing right at the top end of Spanish football. Very highly regarded player. Certainly will be interesting lots of teams out there, not just limited to Manchester City. So to summarise, I think the best option and the easiest option for Manchester City in this January transfer window would be Martin Zubimendi over at Real Sociedad. City would have to convince him to come across. Maybe we'd be relying on a player or two to get in contact, maybe a personal phone call from Pep Guardiola to try and talk the player into making the move. The fact that he wasn't keen on a move to England back in the summer, I can't imagine too much has changed, in particular with the weather getting greyer, colder and darker, as to why you'd be tempted to leave San Sebastian to come to lovely old Manchester. But here we are. If you can convince him, then I think that would definitely be option A. If not, Ederson I think is a really good contingency, with the player being keen on the move. I think he'd work and graft really hard to try and prove himself at Manchester City. I think Samuele Ricci shouldn't be ruled out. I think it'd be another good option, in particular if Manchester City can make it affordable. So they're just 5 players that I've had a look at. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Any of them 5 players take your fancy? Any other player that you think could make a really good Rodri replacement whilst he's injured, and a player that could complement Rodri once we have him back? Let me know in the comments below. I will be doing at some point, probably in December sometime, looking at 5 potential players that Manchester City could sign in the January transfer window, because I wouldn't rule out Manchester City not just going in for one player, but maybe even 2, with right back being a potential option for Manchester City. We also need to sort out what's happening in terms of Oscar Bob's injury and looking at a potential backup striker as well. So there is business that, in my opinion, Manchester City need to do. But whether Manchester City choose to do the business is another matter. But we'll look at some more players, not just Rodri replacements, in that next 5 players that Manchester City could target series, which will be out next month for you guys to enjoy. Remember, January 1st, doing daily Manchester City transfer updates here on YouTube. It is going to be a busy January transfer window. You do want to stay up to date, guys, so do make sure you have subscribed, press that bell and put your push notifications on. It is free to subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And finally, do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. And I'll see you all again real soon for the next Manchester City video. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Peace. Ciao for now.